A family guy must be a funny guy in the moments of his life. This was a quote made by this fella. He worked on a little-known game called Jet Set Radio. So a lot of you probably know who Mr. Naganuma is, and it might not be from working on Jet Set Radio, because I know a lot of the people who watch this channel are a bunch of little children who repeat the same joke over and over again. Don't worry, I love you still. But you probably know him from Twitter. And Naganuma's been tweeting a lot on Twitter recently, which is kind of par for the course because Twitter's a social media app and that's kind of the point of it, but that's neither here nor there. Naganuma's Twitter escapades have brought a lot of people, myself included, to follow him on Twitter and kind of see what all the hubbub's about. And whatever he tweets, it kind of ranges. Sometimes he talks about Family Guy, and then sometimes he talks about fighting people, and then other times he just kind of answers questions of whether or not he likes certain things. Like one time, he just said that he didn't like Hatsune Miku, which is fair. I don't like fake women either. You know, it's the usual AAA video game composer type tweets. That's called sarcasm. I mean, when's the last time you've seen a AAA music composer talk about Lugia's potbelly? Don't worry, I'll wait. I thought so. So what makes Naganuma's Twitter so interesting? Well, I think I can shed some light on that, so follow me. I don't know why I walked. Why did I walk in the direction? So to understand this funky uncle, we have to take a trip back in time to see how he kind of got to where he is now. And don't worry, I'll keep this one brief. But Cole did not keep this one brief. Naganuma was born in 1972 in Japan, because that's where all the cool video game guys come from. At around the age of 5, he started learning how to play the electric organ, but it wasn't until 14 where he realized that he had an interest in music. Specifically Western music, which I think Naganuma might be the world's first Westaboo. Fast forward to 1998, Naganuma's working as a DJ, wanting to get into the J-pop industry. Anyhow, he decides to do something different. He takes a couple demos and he sends them to a game company. That game company is Sega, and they immediately accept him. He starts working on a couple of games. He works on a game called Hip Hop Jog, he works on Sega Rally 2, and then he works on Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future. Later after that, they have him work on Sonic Rush, and that's kind of the majority of his stuff at Sega. After that, fast forwarding to around before he started getting popular on Twitter, he did a song for a game called Lethal League, which is like this 4-player baseball meets Pong meets Smash Brothers kind of game. It's cool, you should play it. And he does a song for them. And then those people say, hey, Mr. Naganuma, you're really, really cool, dude. You should come work with us and be the main composer for our Jet Set Radio game that we're making. And then he goes, a Jet Set Radio game? You're making a new Jet Set Radio? And they go, no, we would get DMCA. No, we're making an indie successor called Bomb Rush Cyberflunk. Cyberflunk. That is what they are going to say. That's what is going to happen when the game gets terrible reviews. No, the game's actually called Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which is not out yet at the time of making this video, but it might be out soon, and it looks really cool, and I kind of want to play it. But that's where we get to where we are now. So around 2016, Naganuma found the Family Guy Funny Moments meme, which is basically just putting Family Guy funny moments over stuff. You can change like the title cards, and that's kind of where it went. And he started retweeting that because he found the phrase Family Guy Funny Moments really humorous. So he started retweeting them. And then people found his retweets of them and went, hey, that's the guy from Jet Set Radio. I know him. And then they started making Jet Set Radio versions of Family Guy Funny Moments, which he then retweeted. Let's get another sippy Dr. Beppy before we continue. Fast forward a little bit after the Family Guy Funny Moments thing, Naganuma found the King for a Day contest from Siva Gunner, and somebody was going as DJ Professor K, and he retweeted that, which then brought a lot of more traction to his Twitter account because a lot of people like Siva Gunner. And after this, things start moving really, really fast. Naganuma would start learning online slang from people who were on Twitter, which culminated in a lot of stuff. So he learned the meaning of based, which then became an inside joke because when he would say something's based, a lot of people would respond with, based? Based on what? And then he would end up responding with, based on the novel by Stephen King, and that just became a whole inside joke with his Twitter for some reason. Then, he also learned about poggers, and he started saying poggers for a while, and then he learned about horny on main, which we'll get back to that later because it's kind of important to the Naganuma lore that we're going through right now. So you're probably saying to yourself now, well, Cole, if he's learning all this internet slang stuff, was he still posting about Family Guy? And the answer is yes. Yes, he was. So he started saying that he was a Family Guy, which then fell into the quote from the beginning of the video, and then he started posting about the Cleveland Show. I think he found the intro to the Cleveland Show funny. I mean, it was a meme for a while too, so I don't blame him. But during all this learning internet slang, he started changing his profile picture. And we just have a bunch of fan-made versions of Naganuma's Twitter. Because we have one that's him doing the poggers face. We have one where it's Peter Griffin. We have one where it's Joe Swanson. We have one where it's Quagmire. And then we have one where it's Cleveland Brown. And he used the Cleveland Brown and the Peter Griffin one already. I don't know if he used the poggers one, but there's another account that we'll touch on in a minute that does. So a couple other of Naganuma's online escapades kind of boil down to just like weird things that happened on his Twitter, so we'll go through them. There's one time where Naganuma was arguing with a bunch of Twitter accounts who pretended to be like the CEOs of companies, which was like John Sega and Martin Nintendo, or like Lady Konami or something like that. And that's why right now if you go to his Twitter, he says that he's the CEO of Funky Fresh Beats. So another thing that happened on Naganuma's Twitter is he started talking about whether or not he could beat certain characters in a fight, or whether or not certain characters could beat each other in a fight. Because a while back, during like his early days, or like mid-time, before I got onto his account, he was in a confrontation with another Twitter user called Fish Tempura, and the guy said that he could beat Naganuma in a fight. And then Naganuma just started referencing Fish Tempura over and over again. So anybody who didn't see that initial confrontation between Fish Tempura and Naganuma probably has no idea what the hell he was talking about. And then a lot of people started calling him Funky Uncle, which then he started calling himself Funky Uncle too, which is really funny. Because, yeah, that's right, he makes funk-type music. So technically he is Twitter's Funky Uncle. An Uncle Funkle, if you will.
Yeah, women is a trip, Uncle Funkle.
But the most important thing that he's managed to mention multiple times is that he doesn't work for Sega anymore. But people still keep bothering him, asking to make a Jet Set Radio 3. And he's just like, I don't work for Sega. Go ask Sega to make Jet Set Radio 3. I have nothing to do with them anymore. Which probably makes sense as why he posts whatever he wants on Twitter, because he's not contractually obligated to anything, now that I think about it. But while all this is going on, Naganuma was struggling with the one thing that a lot of us struggle with now, even with the whole being locked inside thing, and that's loneliness. So Naganuma made a comment on this Twitter post. Yeah, that's somebody dressed up as Lois from Family Guy. But a lot of people didn't really like what he said about it, because it was kind of like, ooh, mama, ooh, that's a Lois Griffin. So they asked him to stop being horny on main. And then he just responded with saying, what's wrong with being horny? You should be horny. If you're not horny, the human race will perish. And then people liked that response so much that he used it to up his shitposting game online. And then an account appeared, which has Naganuma doing the PogChamp emote, and it just says, is Hideki Naganuma horny tonight? And that's the whole point of the account. They just, is he horny tonight? Yes or no? And then that's how we learned what horny on main was. And it just kept going. He kept posting about, being lonely, or wanting a family, or wanting to settle down and find true love, which is a noble cause. Everybody deserves to find true love, even our funky uncle Hideki Naganuma. But Naganuma's efforts to find love and affection in the online landscape kind of landed him in a little bit of hot water. So around mid-October of this year, Naganuma made a comment about dating somebody around the age of 16, which was formatted as a joke. But since there's been a lot of what we'll call e-girls responding to Naganuma in his Twitter replies, a lot of people thought he was serious. So Naganuma's strange humor kind of got a big no thank you from the people who were watching, and he took down the tweets and stopped talking to the e-girls altogether. Which is what should be done, because why would I pay $5 to look at a mammary when I can Google them and get 6 billion results? But this didn't dissuade Naganuma from lonely posting online, because he still does to this day. And I hope he finds somebody. But in the meantime, Naganuma should do something nice for himself. I mean, why doesn't he get a pet, a little friend to help him get along in these trying times that we live in? I think that's a fantastic idea. But back on topic. Here's the real question I want to pose for this video. How has Naganuma gained such a big fan base of people who probably have never played Jet Set Radio? Why is everybody so enamored with this guy? Well, I believe the answer is actually pretty simple. And the answer is that Naganuma is a middle-aged Japanese man who is trying to understand Western culture. Seeing him be eager and willing to learn about what's hip and cool on Twitter is fun to see. Because he's trying his best. He actually cares about, what people think of his music. He wants to be appreciated. He wants to be loved. So he's trying his best to fit in. And people are encouraging him to do that. There's not a bad vibe in Naganuma's Twitter. Usually a lot of the stuff he says is mostly in jest. His appreciation towards his fans is the one thing that keeps people coming back. He's never really angry online. Sometimes deadpan, sometimes blunt. But he's earnest enough to interact with people in a more genuine manner than other famous people online. At least, that's why I think everybody likes him. So, stay funky, Naganuma. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. I genuinely appreciate it. I know I haven't posted a lot recently, but 2021 is the year where I make YouTube my bitch. We're gonna ride it to the top. Me and the 1,000 of you that still watch this channel. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make it to the top. Anyways, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one.